Welcome back. Let me ask you something that most entrepreneurs think they've answered, but usually haven't. What problem does your business actually solve? This one question, just 8 words, this can either unlock the momentum that you've been chasing, or it can quietly sabotage everything that you're building. Now, if you can nail the answer, your business will stand out from the rest. Your marketing gets sharper, your offer becomes clearer, and your customers start showing up. If you miss it, you risk pouring in money, time, energy into something that no one's asking for. Now, I've learned this the hard way more than once. So today we're breaking it down because if you get this part right, everything else gets easier. So start by defining the word problem, not in a textbook way, but in a practical, boots on the ground sense. In business, the word problem is simply an unmet need. It's a frustration, a friction point. It's something your ideal customer is actively trying to avoid, to fix, maybe to escape from. And they care enough about it that they're willing to spend some money or some time to solve it. Now, here's the twist. Most failed businesses didn't offer a real solution to a real problem. What they offered was maybe a nice to have, a clever idea, a feature. And that's not the same thing. And hey, if you're new to my channel, I'm Gary Smith. I'm a business and marketing adjunct professor. I'm also the founder of GS Biz Coach. And what we found is that solopreneurs typically struggle to turn their ideas into profitable businesses. That's why at GS Biz Coach, I provide expert coaching and proven strategies to help you launch and grow a sustainable revenue generating business. Now, I post videos like this at least twice a month. So be sure to subscribe, because if you're serious about really making your business work, you're in the right place. Now, here's a trap that a lot of entrepreneurs fall into. They build something that's polished, that's well designed, that's technically impressive, but it doesn't solve a real problem. And in business, that can be fatal. People don't pay for clever ideas or shiny features. They pay to actually relieve a pain, to eliminate a friction, or to solve something that's costing them time or money, or maybe it's peace of mind. Now, you can check every box, great logo, slick website, functional product, and still struggle simply because the thing that you built isn't tied to a meaningful need, right? If there is no clear problem, there's no urgency. And if there's no urgency, there's no sale, and no sales means no business. That's why starting with a problem isn't an option. It's foundational. So first, start with a real problem. Next, you can't solve a problem if you don't know who you're solving it for. That's where understanding your audience comes in. And I don't mean just the demographics. What I'm talking about are the psychographics, the beliefs, the habits, the frustrations, the desires that keep them up at night. What are they tired of struggling with? What's the thing that they maybe want, but they can't figure out how to get it? If you can tap into that gap between, say, where they are and where they want to be, you're not just guessing anymore, right? You're building something that's already there. They're already looking for it. And the simplest way to find out is to simply ask. For example, you can run a short survey, maybe some open-ended questions. You can have 5 to 10 direct conversations with people that you think might be customers. You can hang out in the places that they already talk. These are places like the Reddit threads, the Facebook groups, the blog comment sections, things like that. And just listen. And here's the thing. You're not looking just for what they say on the surface, right? You're listening for what they actually need, which you'll often find is hidden behind the complaints, behind the workarounds. For example, nobody said they wanted Uber, right? What they said is that they hated waiting for cabs. They couldn't find one when they needed it, and they felt uncertain about the whole experience. Now, I can tell you from, back when I was in the military, cabs were all there were, and the service was horrible even then, even around military bases. So Uber didn't invent a want. What they did is they solved a problem that people were already grumbling about. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel here, but you do need to solve a problem that people care about and will actually pay for. Now, let's get practical. How do you actually identify a problem that your business can solve? Now, I'll work with a 3-part framework, one that I teach at the university level, also one that I use here in my own business. And it's pretty straightforward, but also powerful. Now, number 1, observe observations, right? What are people already trying to do to fix the problem? Number 2 is identify the friction. Where are they frustrated? Where are they wasting time, money, or energy? And number 3 is to dig into the emotion. What's the emotional driver underneath? Is it stress? Is it overwhelm? Is it embarrassment? Most business problems fall into a few different buckets. One is time saving, right? Another one is going to be money saving. Another one is going to be revenue generating. Another is convenience and also access. One more, status or identity, right? Think about these different things here. And here's the key. The more, I would say, clearly and specifically that you can define the problem, the easier everything else becomes. So don't just say, I help people save time. Say, I help new podcasters avoid spending 6 hours of editing on a single episode. That's tangible, it's specific, and it's sticky. That's something people will care about, and they'll pay for answers to how to solve it. Next, let's say you've identified what you think is a real problem. Now you need to ask, is that problem painful enough that people will actually pay to solve it? That's the validation step. And it doesn't have to be complicated, right? A few methods are, offer some pre-sales, maybe some beta access before you actually build the full thing. Are people willing to buy it early? Next, run some A/B split tests with different landing pages. Which version gets more signups or more clicks? Next, have maybe some focus groups, right? Do people show an interest into it? And don't fall in love with your first idea. Fall in love with the problem. That way, if your first solution doesn't resonate, you can pivot without starting from scratch. The goal isn't to be right out of the gate. The goal is to listen, learn, and to iterate. All right. Now that you've done that, you're confident you've got a real problem worth solving, you've got a clear audience, and you've got some early validation. Now what? Now you need to tell the story. No, not your story, their story. It's all about them. That means that your marketing, your framework, your business should be positioned as the guide and your customer as a hero, because they don't care about your story. They care about their story and how you can help solve their problem. So they're the ones that are on the journey. You're just providing them a map, maybe a compass. Maybe you're the tool that they can use to be successful. In other words, your value proposition should answer one simple question, right? Why should this person care? Now, here's a good formula. You're welcome to borrow it, steal it from me. I use it all the time. Your audience struggles with a specific problem, which leads to negative outcome or a consequence. We help by your solution so they can have a positive outcome. Now, if you want to see an example of that template in practice, here's one I use for GS Biz Coach, which is my company. Most solopreneurs struggle to attract consistent customers, which leads to unpredictable revenue and slow business growth. At GS Biz Coach, I offer expert coaching and proven strategies to help you launch and grow a sustainable revenue-generating business. You see how that works? So you see how that template just fits all those pieces? So make it sharp, make it human, make it honest, and know that the time you're taking to craft this value proposition, it's not just a branding exercise, it's a clarity tool, right? It forces you to really get out of your head and into the mind of your customer, because when you can articulate what you do or what you offer clearly, everything else gets easier, right? Your website copy is easier to write, your elevator pitch lands, and your confidence in social media also starts to show as well. So you also begin attracting the right people, you get more focused, and importantly, you're no longer trying to be everything to everyone, which is a losing proposition. In fact, far too many businesses struggle, not because they don't have a value, but because they haven't communicated that value in a way that actually resonates with their audience. So don't skip this step, right? Don't rush getting through it. Getting this right is kind of like laying the foundation for a house, right? It doesn't necessarily look flashy. If you've ever built a house, you know that, but everything you do after that really depends on it. So if you want your business to grow organically and sustainably with real traction and hopefully loyal customers, you have to get crystal clear on the problem you're trying to solve. That's where the momentum starts, and that's what earns trust. And that's what turns an idea into an income stream. Now, if you want to learn more about how to launch and grow a sustainable revenue-generating business, just click or swipe the screen to watch this next video.